All right, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Catch Up with JP. We are here today to celebrate the career of Mr. Jay Jackson. He announced his retirement in February. We're going to talk about his career and talk about what he's been up to since and what his plans are. Welcome to the show, Mr. Jackson.
No, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me, JP. I appreciate you having me, and thanks for being here.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your time. So, first question, because I want to hear all the details. Today was your first day as a pitching coach. How was
Yes,
that? You're pitching coach of the West Virginia Black Bears of the MLB Draft League.
yeah. So it was. I mean, it was fun. It was just getting to see the guys, getting to meet them, really, getting to know how they play catch, how they work, how they throw. A lot of guys, got off planes or long drives yesterday, so today was just kind of a, light touch and feel day. Make sure just to see how they throw the ball to kind of just piece my rotation together for the next couple weeks. Well, not next couple weeks, next couple days, because we're missing a lot of pitchers right now. We're kind of short staffed, so it's just working with what we got and the guys that we have, and waiting for the reinforcements to come because a lot of guys are still in the super regionals right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was wondering if you were short because you didn't have them or short because they weren't there yet.
Yeah, they're not here yet. They're A lot of guys are pitching so well and playing so well with their college teams that they're still in the super regionals right now. So definitely don't want to rush that process. Want them to definitely go out there.
How do you feel being pitching coach? Did you have first day jitters?
I don't think I have first day jitters. I just kind of do the same thing that I would do as, a normal day, really. Like I work with guys from time to time anyway. So for me, just working with the guys today, watching them throw and just kind of tweaking something here or there that I can see to make them better to help us, win. But now I get to actually see, the fruits of the labor that we're both doing, the things that I'm telling them, if they're incorporating it, and then if it translates to what's on the field as well. So now that I get to see that, it's going to be interesting to see if these things work, because I've talked to a lot of guys that I've worked with before and they said the certain things work. So actually finding out and seeing it faced like in reality is going to be, something to behold. So therefore I can actually make adjustments and I can help guys a little bit better. And, for me, my goal is to have these guys get drafted even higher than they were projected to go and learn something to take with them from here on to the rest of their career and beyond.
That's exciting, man. I'm glad that you've got something that you're into. I'm glad you've got that going for you. All right, so we'll start back from the beginning, man. You were drafted in the ninth round by the Cubs in 2008 out of Furman University. You're from Greenville, correct?
Yes, sir.
Uh, what was your experience with the draft, man? Were you expecting to go that high? Did you go higher than you expected?
No, I didn't go higher than expected. I went a lot lower than I expected, actually.
Gotcha.
So just all the workouts I had done previously and just what I had heard from scouts and different teams before the draft, I actually went a lot lower than I thought. And then from what I was projected to go to, I believe that year I was projected in like the first like 4 rounds. And so me going in the ninth round was kind of late, especially from the fact that I put up pretty good numbers that year with me pitching and hitting at the same time. So I thought that I was definitely going to go a lot higher, but the way it worked, it just made me a little bit more hungry, and I instead stuck around for 17 professional seasons instead, so I can't
Well,
complain too
it
much
seemed
about
like
it.
either you worked your tail off or you were respected like a top four round pick because you spent 2008 you hit three levels, 2009 you hit three levels. So
Yeah.
it seemed like the Cubs thought of you as a 1, 2, 3, 4 round pick. That doesn't
Yeah, I
happen to
mean,
ninth rounders.
I felt like I should have been, and I felt like I kind of proved it as I went through the levels, and just, I wouldn't say I stalled out at AAA, but I got there, and then the PCL kind of takes a hold of you, and I kind of got down on myself a little bit, going through a little funk too that didn't help with, where I was at in, AAA at that time. I think my second and third year, I just got into kind of like not bored, but I got just like down being stuck in AAA for a little bit, and I just didn't feel like I could. I just Maybe a change of scenery would have been nice, but you just kind of work through it. And luckily, I got the chance and opportunity to go somewhere else after those days, and my career kept going on.
Yeah, you definitely got lots of scenery over the course of your career. Um, and finally, it was your second, third, fourth, your fifth stop with the Padres, where you made your major league debut in
Yeah.
2015. Tell me about that, man. Tell me about the call up and how it felt to finally get the call at that time with that much experience on your belt and arriving in the show?
It was, I tell people it's gonna be actually, in my memoirs book when I actually finish writing it. The way that the call up happened was kind of strange. I don't know if a lot of people have the call ups the way like we did with the Padres that year. Our season was already done. We had guys get called up at the beginning of September, but then we had guys that stayed with the AAA team, and once our season was finished, got called up. But we didn't get called up normally. Like when your season's done that day, normally like guys get called in the office like that moment after the season's done, like, okay, like you're all going up because your season's over now, so don't worry about getting your flight homes or whatever else. Whereas like all our guys or most of our guys had already left El Paso and had gone and flown back home and had to fly back to the day like when we got called up. Luckily, I hadn't yet. I was still in El Paso. I stayed an extra day just to kind of like relax and think about the season and just like reflect on the year. But a lot of guys had already flown home and we got called up the next
You
day.
didn't
And
even fly
then,
home to like Asia and then get the call?
no, I don't think they called anybody home from that. But like, I think some guys had gone back to like California or some guys
Yeah.
had gone back to like Florida or something like
Or
that and had
Maine
to
or New
fly back
York
to
or
Arizona. It was one of those situations. So, but I'm grateful that it happened 100%. And, I made my debut the next day, but I'm just thankful that, the Padres gave me the opportunity. I felt like even that year, I can kind of talk about it now. I felt like I should have been called up earlier in that year because I had better numbers earlier in that year. But, again, like things happen the way they do. Teams, I'm not the one in control of certain things. And, God works in mysterious ways. So it happened when it was supposed to.
you always hear that. I almost call it excuse now, the numbers game of who's on the 40 man, whose arm is hanging from pitching the night before. It's just kind of there's a lot of luck involved in getting that move from AAA to the big leagues, it sounds like. And I see people get months and months and even years bad luck tied together.
Yeah, it seems like that sometimes, but I mean, for the most part, I feel like, once you get through the door stays open for a little bit. If you're lucky, if you treat it the right way, the door stays open enough. I think a lot of guys close the door on themselves too, which is unfortunate. But, I think getting there is a testament of like, a lot of not only luck, but a lot of hard work and dedication because I mean, it does take a lot to get there for, the guys that get there. It's a little, I feel like I'm not gonna say it's easier now because that would be disrespecting the guys that are getting there now, but I feel like they're rotating guys a lot more now than they used to. And like you said, it's more of a numbers game and a analytical game than it was, we're just going to figure it out with the guys we have and you know pitch situationally, but that's also a testament to how the game's changed with having to throw three batters and you can't actually face one batter in situation the guys necessarily to a certain extent. So it's all around just they've kind of taken it to this place where it's at right now.
And I haven't run the stats on it, but I've talked to people and I've noticed that careers are getting shorter. But I think you're right
100%.
on that. The flip side that more guys are getting called up because of the way the game's run. Like you said, it's easier to get in the door, but it seems it's a lot harder to stay there. The length of
Yeah,
careers
100%.
for big leaguers definitely has decreased over the last 20 years.
No, 100%. I think that the numbers, if you find them, somebody had told me the numbers recently about the number of guys that have reached arbitration now compared to, the past 20 years or something like that, and how many guys have reached 5 years, and then how many guys have reached 8 years, and how many guys have reached 10 years, and how the numbers have declined and the percentages have declined drastically over the past like 5 to 10 years with the number of guys that have gotten, 5 to 6 years in the league, even 3 years in the league. So I think it's crazy to think about. But I think that's a testament of like, again, the culture that we're in and how much baseball is changing though.
Yes.
Is
Like I
we
said,
want everything
I
now.
haven't
And
seen
it's
the
also
stats on that, but it just feels that way. And I'm sure the
100%.
stats
No,
back
but
it up.
it feels that way and it's true, but I think that's also a testament of who's running the game right now too. You're getting a lot of the guys. And this isn't a disrespect to those guys that are at the front office level and things of that nature. They're having guys that are making final decisions that don't or haven't played the game at a high level where it's just more of a business. So they're catering more to the fans instead of the game of baseball. And I feel like if you cater to the game of baseball, you'll have the fans come. Like if you play baseball the right way and you do the things that you're supposed to do, the fans will show up because the game's exciting enough when you just don't have to like change so many things about it at like all times. I understand what we're doing and I understand why we're doing it, but I think there was a way to tie it in instead of just pushing it upon people all the time just
Yeah,
because
they're
of,
doing it for
I guess,
short-term gain, it seems like, instead of long-term fan appeal. Little short-term
exactly,
pops to get a couple fannies in the seats. When they should
exactly,
be trying to build lifelong fans, in my opinion.
100%.
My observation. So speaking of keeping the door open, after you spent some time in the big leagues in 2015, you opened the door and went to Japan.
Yeah.
How did that happen? And I'm always curious to know how guys end up over there. And also,
Um,
how was your
like,
experience?
I loved it over there. One, the experience over there, and actually, me getting over there was a whole kind of different story. It's going to be one of those things that's in my memoir too, like
I
the
can't wait.
in-depth, like actual conversations about it and how it actually kind of all went down. But um, I got lucky enough that I had some interest over there, and then they just bought the Padres. I guess the Padres had a number on me, and the team, luckily enough, decided to pay it, and I went over there and had some success. And then the team I was on, we had enough success where they kept me around for a couple of years, right? So we ended up winning our league championship in 2016, 2017, and 2018. It's
Yeah, your
one of
numbers
the
don't lie. I
times
mean,
that
you killed it over there. You had lots of success in Japan.
yeah, I had a great time over there. I enjoyed it a lot. Like it was one of the times I was upset that I didn't get a chance to come back home earlier, where I've seen a lot of guys, parlay their success over in Japan and overseas to come back home, where how I felt, during that time where I was playing so well and I didn't hear anything from any other teams and I didn't have any like offers to come play really. And I didn't really sign to come back home after that stint in Japan until literally a week or a couple days before spring training started in 2019. And I think I signed the contract. I think spring training started February like 15th, like 13th or something like that. And I signed the contract February like 9th or 10th. And I was in Japan when that happened. So I had to fly from Japan and pick up everything I had in Japan and leave and be at spring training in 3 days and be ready to like pitch, like pretty much. So yeah, it's like I said, it's gonna be a full story about that at some point. But
So you
uh,
mentioned the memoirs. I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead here. I saw where you had, I don't know, somewhere posted an autobiography in the works. Is that really in the works? Do you have any
yeah,
timetable on that?
I don't have a timetable, and I'm looking at like articles and just remembering different things throughout my career. I actually got my retirement book from, and this isn't a plug for them, but Legacy, Best of Legacy LLC. They do retirement books for baseball athletes. It's a great company. So they pulled all the articles from me from like high school through college, through like all my big league career, through times in Japan and everything like that. So I'm just looking through those. So once I get all my thoughts together, I'm gonna put them together, and then hopefully within the probably next year and a half, I'd say the memoir should be out by
That's
then.
cool. That's
It's
cool
not an
idea. I've never heard
auto,
that.
yeah,
That helps you have your facts together when you go to sit down and write your stuff. You've already got the
exactly. So
dates and the specific names and everything else there in front of you. That's cool. I never heard that before.
I think just like I always say it to people, like all the fans that I've met through the years, and like the fans at different places, how they've treated me and my family, especially like I name off. Toronto is one of my favorite places just because of how they treated me and my family through the things we were going through. But also, I give credit to the San Francisco Giants fans because of how much love they showed me and still do. And people still remember me out there a little bit too. And again, like the Blue Jays fans still, for some reason, I love them to death that, they still remember me to this day and they always check on me and JR and Sam and everything else like that. So just, my career's been amazing. I'm so blessed to have it. Don't know a lot of people that have been blessed to, play 17 years professionally in baseball at the level I played, So for me, there's not much else I can say except for I've been extremely blessed. Thank everybody that I've come across that has helped me across the way, especially all my pitching coaches that show so much belief and support in me, Mike Mason, Brownswell Patrick, Garvin Alston, like those are some of my main guys that like, helped me get through a lot of things. I think, throughout my career, my university coach, Ron Smith, my career wouldn't have been the same without him, honestly. So he helped me make a lot of right decisions to get to the point that I'm at, but also my family. I think God above that, he's blessed me with that ability, and hopefully I can, you know, help other people be, a lot better than I was, honestly.
So 2025, you signed to go to spring training with Bravos de Leon in the Mexican League, and then a month later announced your retirement. What was your thought process behind that? Were you already kind of 1 foot out the door when you signed that contract? Were you thinking about retiring since the end of last season?
No, I wasn't really thinking about retiring. I was actually rehabbing. And a lot of people think that like I just got released last year. And I've been trying to explain to a lot of people last year, just with how my numbers were played out last year, it's kind of inflated. Well, it's really inflated, but I was playing through an injury and I wasn't able to really talk about it because me and the team and the PA, we were kind of just trying to figure some stuff out with my rehab and making sure that like I was going to be cleared to play again at that. But I ended up getting a PRP in my left knee and my right shoulder, and I actually didn't get cleared from that till mid-January. And so I got back from that finally. I did a couple bullpens and just I realized that me going to Mexico, I didn't want to go down there and not give my all and not enjoy baseball the way I wanted to. So it was more, I wanted them to go give the spot to somebody that was going to go down there and be really hungry and want to, do everything. I want to go back to the big leagues if I had a chance to. And me going to Mexico it would have been fun. I would have went down there and had a blast, but I feel like the pathway for me going from Mexico to the big leagues would have been a lot for my body to handle all over again at the age of 37, honestly, where if I was probably 25 or 28 or probably even 30 again, I would definitely do it and just try to make it as much as I can, make it the best adventure I can. But at this point, I wanted to spend time with my family. I wanted to see my son grow up. I want to watch him crawl and walk and be there and spend time with him. I wanted to, give back to the younger generation too. I want to see them have fun and love the game of baseball like I used to love the game of baseball. And I feel like I can do that from this side a lot easier than I could have done it from me taking a spot down there somewhere.
I had in my head is you really had some good momentum going on with your post baseball activities. You'd already written the book. You already had the podcast, which we hadn't started talking about as well. But it seemed like your off field plans seemed almost more exciting than pitching off the mound in Mexico would have been. So I
It
thought that
wasn't.
might have.
I think spending time with my son was the most
Right,
exciting part about it,
right.
honestly. But just for
How old's your
me,
son
it was
now?
he'll be 2 in July. And
Gotcha.
so for me, I think that was the most exciting part. But it was, like I said, I'm getting older. I wanted to make sure that the next wave of guys want to love the game of baseball. So I want to be able to teach that and I want to be able to give back to that. And the way I feel like I would be able to do that, I don't think it's more exciting for me to do it, but I think that the service I can provide and the guys that can be around me that I can hopefully rub off on will hopefully make a better, not better product of baseball, but, will help them love the game of baseball and help them go do great things and, you know, enjoy what little time we have on this planet. Like, just enjoy the living daylights out of it.
Some people I've talked to, have kind of said something off the cuff, kind of like, when I got drafted, working my way the minors, I thought I was going to play in the big leagues for 10 years, 3 or 4 All-Star games, sign $100 million contract. That didn't happen for me, but I'm so grateful for what the career I had. And you should feel that way. Like I said at the beginning, when I introduced you, I said we're here to celebrate your career. You accomplished some things. You've seen some places. You had some success in the big leagues and the big leagues in Japan, and you should be proud of what you did. And hopefully, you've had a chance to take a deep breath since you retired and to celebrate your own career.
Honestly, I haven't. I don't really. Other people have celebrated it for me. I don't think I've really sat down. I think once I really take a break and have a chance to sit down and look at it, I like to stay busy and I don't like to relive it too much yet. I think that I'm scared to at some point, but like I wanna relive it and I wanna express
You
it and
should,
again
man. For the
celebrate it in
17
my
years, like you said, you
yeah.
you,
It's a
you
long
deserve that
time.
for yourself.
I think I just want to find a time. I think it'll hit me at some point and I'll celebrate it, truly the way I want to, and not just like have a party and everybody else, but like sit down and
Yeah.
actually like, you know, have a, drink and sit by a fire or sit outside and just look at the clouds or something like that at some point and like just ponder my career for a little bit and enjoy it. But I don't think I just haven't had the true time to do that yet because I've just been busy trying to do so many other things to, help other people at the same time to stay in the game, but also find what my calling is and what it's truly going to be and how I can best impact and make this world a better place. I feel like if I'm sitting around not doing that, then I'm wasting, energy and time and everything else. I want to make sure that I'm being useful and I'm being of service of some sort.
A lot of the stuff that you've talked about through your Instagram and 9 innings living your best life and the Smile Zone seems really focused, baseball focused. Man, I think what you have going on in your whole philosophy and everything, it should be around the world. Every human citizen of Earth should listen to it and pay attention to it.
And we're actually doing that right now. So the Smile Zone is the baseball focus part of it. It's the more athlete centric focus that I'm doing, and that's why I created this just specifically for athletes. But the book is not as baseball
Right.
focused. It's actually for everyone. It's a positive mindset book to make sure that you always stay positive. You can always find something in that book, I feel like, that you can use at any time throughout your life. If it's good, bad, indifferent, I feel like you can find something in that book that can help you just have more of a positive outlook or have just a more successful day or just find a little bit more happiness that you might be missing at the time. But then also, I have a team right now that's actually working with me to create a curriculum for middle school and high school students, but also to create a curriculum for college and adults as well. So we're working on two different curriculums right now
There you
that
go.
are based off the book so that we can also, again, spread the word and make sure that the word is getting out and spreading to more people, not just athletes. Because, again, I want to be able to spread it and I want to be able to help as many people as possible. It's not just about helping athletes because athletes, again, especially baseball players, there's such a small percentage that ultimately become major leaguers. So this is more about them being the best people they can be and being the best versions of themselves. So if baseball ends up not working out, that they can take these lessons and take the fundamentals from the book or from what I'm saying or the things that I'm hopefully instilling in them that especially the books teaching them that they can take further on and use them throughout life and make sure that they're not going down the wrong path, that they're doing something productive and finding other things that they love to do so that they can, again, help society, but first of all, help themselves be happy. Because in turn, if they help themselves be happy and positive, then they're going to get more things done and in turn help society as a whole. I like to think that, I was actually a philosophy major in college, so
Okay.
it kind of worked out. And
Yeah.
then as I've grown through my life, I've taken the principles that I've learned through the old philosophers and the Stoics and everyone like that, and kind of just seen the things I've gone through and kind of the things that have worked for me, but also things that society can take along with it and just trying to put it together and do what's just again try to find what's my calling and try what I can be best used for service. And I'm hoping that one day what I'm teaching with the book and the book leads to me again expounding upon not just athletes but using this as a platform to go speak for and do motivational speaking for companies and CEOs and schools,
Cool.
not just athletes but everyone around the world to help them understand and again to better society. Like ultimately for me, I think baseball teaches a lot of good fundamentals of life to have
It
a good
does.
foundation. But I honestly think that like what I'm teaching in these principles can just vastly help just everyone be a little bit happier and a little bit more positive, which, like I said, again, becomes a snowball for me to compound into other things and lead to other places and help you just, live the best life that you can.
Good. Yeah, that's a great, and you're teaching other people to do the same with that as well. If you can get in middle schools, that's exciting because kids nowadays the pressure, even athletes or non-athletes, the pressure that kids have nowadays, with the way the world's changed since I was in middle school and probably since you were in middle school too. Um, Kids have it tough nowadays, and to have that your perspective of looking at things as opposed to the peer pressure and the social media influencer way of looking at things, that'd be beneficial to kids to grow up happy kids.
No, 100%. I definitely want, that's the goal, is to get in middle school. And my actually sneak peek is I'm actually working on hopefully getting a couple versions of children's books as well, so it can actually start earlier than that. So my goal is, like, again, to again start them as early as possible, obviously, but understand that your reactions are the biggest part about it. And if you react in a positive way, even when negative things happen, that if you react in a positive way, like 9 times out of 10, the long-term results end up being positive if you keep compounding those. But if you start compounding negative things, those compound a lot more quicker,
Yeah.
quickly
It
than
takes
positive
one
things.
negative thing to wipe out 10 positive things.
Exactly. So you have to stay positive, and that's kind of what I'm hoping that the book teaches people. Like I said, I want people to be able to read through the book once, and then from then on be like, hey, you know what? Like, if something's going on with me, or I feel off a little bit, or if I feel happy a little bit, like, is it because of the principles, or is it because I found my own principles? But I can pull this book out, and it's gonna help me get through this time. Like, whether I'm good or bad, you know what I mean? I just want it to be a book that can help at all times for everyone.
That's good, man. I'm excited for you, but I'm also excited to have these books. So you got 9 innings to living your best life. What's the best way for someone to purchase that book?
Best ways on Amazon right now. We actually have the ebook version and we have the paperback version now. So you just go on Amazon and search 9 innings to living your best life. My book should pop up. If anybody else's book pops up, I don't think it should. But let's see.
You're calling your
Uh,
lawyer.
let's see. I have a copy right here. So if the book
Yes.
doesn't look like this, then that's not the book.
Okay.
So make sure it's this book. But
Uh,
yeah, Amazon's the best way to do it right now. Or if you're an athlete and you're listening to this, or a parent of an athlete that you want your child to join, obviously the new company, the Smile Zone, you actually, all the athletes and all the people that sign up, all the kids that sign up, you actually get a signed copy of the book along with a free month to a fitness app called Elite. And it's actually a great app to have. It literally tracks almost everything. I use it myself, and it's just looks kind of like that. And so it literally has every metric that you can
oh,
have. And
okay.
so then you
I
just
see.
click on add something, and then you can add almost everything possible. Your speed, power, mobility, endurance,
It's called Statily.
stat elite. So
Okay.
every client, every athlete that joins our program for the Smile Zone, you get a signed copy of the book, and you also get a free month to Stat Elite. So we're trying to make it also not just mental health, but also physical fitness health as well, because they are athletes also. So we want to make sure our
That,
athletes are definitely keeping track of, their body, and making sure that we're producing the best versions of the guys that we can possible.
the Smile Zone's relatively new, right? That's a recently launched.
We're by when this actually airs, if it doesn't go live today, today's actually supposed to be the launch date.
Okay.
So the fact that I've had so many meetings today, I haven't been able to
But
announce the launch yet. So we're probably going to end up launching tomorrow. But the Smile Zone is definitely going to be something I feel like is going to be beneficial to a lot of younger athletes, especially if you have a tendency to overthink things, but also if you want to be the best version of yourself, or have a chance to have the mindset to be in the big leagues. All the coaches that I have that are joining me with the Smile Zone have all either played at least at AAA, and 90% of them have played in the MLB and overseas too. So we're working with great people. You have great mindset people to let your athletes know how to make sure they're using themselves and their minds the best to get the best out of them, and be themselves the best that they can. And the whole curriculum that is with the Smile Zone is actually based off the book. That's why you get a signed copy of the book. So the things that go with each week for, the athlete, because how it works is there's different tiers of subscriptions. It's the lowest tier is a starter subscription, and it costs $225 a month, which is relatively cheap for what we're giving a lot of people. And your athlete gets one call each week and gets to tell his coach good, bad, or indifferent how their week went. So if they had good games, bad games, or whatever, you talk about your week. They get to vent, and then the coach responds to them in, however way the coach wants to. So it's very personalized, but each week has a theme that is based throughout the book. And so you get to learn, talk to your coach, get a mindset training, get a theme for the week to hopefully make you more successful to take into your next week to see how you react to that. And again, grow as a person and grow as a player.
I like how you have that structure of the weekly lesson for each thing. That's unique. So with the Smile Zone, you have, did I hear 100 spots?
Have 100 spots available right now because I don't want to overload our coaches
But
because it is so personalized. There's only 100 spots available. Right now, I think maybe by the time this releases, there might be less than 50. Right now, we've had 25 to 27 kids sign up. And again, there's different tiers. There's a tier that's at $225. We have a tier at $350. We have a tier at $500. And then we have a tier at $750. And those are subscription tiers for a month. And how it goes is a 3-month subscription, a 6-month subscription, or a 12-month subscription. And again, you get things for each week in the curriculum's already built out for the kids for every week. So there's going to be accountability for the coach and the client for each week to make sure that they're doing their jobs and make sure that the kids getting the best from us so that they can get the best out of themselves to go out again and be the best versions of themselves wherever they go. And also, one other thing is with the $500 plan and the $750 plan, you're able to send videos to your coach, and your coach will break down your sequences and your mindset throughout the week up from your video as well. But with their $750 membership plan, there will be a monthly team call that I'll lead or have a guest speaker with each month, where we're going to have a different theme and different topic each month that I'll be going over, or the leader of the group or the guest speaker will be going over each month. And if you're not a member of the $750 a month membership, it'll be an extra $50 just to join that call each month.
cool.
They want to just hear a call and get a just monthly lesson of a mindset thing, just a monthly mindset call. I feel like some guys might just want to do that. Or if a kid wants to just have a one-off call with one of our coaches, I think we'll be able to accommodate that in some form or fashion. I think it might be, not a crazy price because, I want to make this affordable for a lot of people. I want to make sure that we get a lot of people better. Again, because the snowball starts where if we only get 100 people and they change their mindsets to be more positive, that 100 turns into 200, 200 turns into, 4 turns into 8, and it keeps going and going. And then again, we have a more positive world and a positive space where everybody's doing what they love to do and making this world a better place.
What's your target age range with this?
We're going from middle school and up. That's what we're looking for. Especially, I think if you're going to be a pitcher for this, I feel like guys are starting to throw and be pitchers at nine and under now, which I feel like is way too early. I wouldn't advise a pitcher nine and under to join this. But if you want to have an athlete join just to talk about a mindset at the age of, 9 or 10, I can see that we can accommodate that. But I'm aiming for more guys that won't have more opportunities or more advanced. So you're looking at older middle school guys, high school guys that want to take their game to the next level, or that don't even want to take their game to the next level, but just love the game of baseball and just want to learn more and see how much they can get out of themselves.
Buddy, I've done my homework on you, and I kind of had an idea what to expect, but I feel like you're more better than I expected, for lack of a better term. You've really got everything figured out very well. I'm excited for you and your everything you got going on. There's a family. I'm really excited about your autobiography, of course. One thing I passed over that I forgot to mention, you've already, when you were an active player, you had the podcast. You're on the Brushback podcast with Mr. Trayvon Robinson, who spent some time with the Mariners back a few years ago, and he recently retired as well, right? 2024 was his last year active.
Yeah, he's the hitting coach actually for the Barnstormers up in Lancaster. So he's doing that too. So we're both coaching, but we're doing some more episodes with that. We actually had a change in our marketing team that we're actually trying to figure out and who we're going to go with next. But we're also working with a sports podcast network in the UK that we're going to be trying to actually create a new sports podcast with them, hopefully. And they actually asked us to do that. So that's kind of something that's in the works that people can be looking out for too. So me and Trayvon have been a little busy too. So the Brushback podcast is definitely on its way back in, but we wanted to make sure that we gave the people over in the UK something that they could be proud of too. So we've been taking some time to make sure that we can give them a product that we can be proud of. And again, we had some technical difficulties with the brushback, so that took a little break for a little bit, but that'll be coming back real soon too. We've got a lot to talk about on that for sure.
With the UK podcast, will we have access to it over here in the States?
Yes, we will. It'll be everywhere as well. It's gonna be fun. It's been fun. It's a different perspective for me and him. It's more of a guide to baseball is what it's going to be. So it's another way, again, for us to provide a service for the younger generation and for a different avenue of fans where, they can learn baseball from us in a different facet where it's going to be more simplified and family friendly. And it's just going to be, us talking about, the simpler things of baseball where the Brushback podcast is us getting more deep and analytical and,
Okay.
Giving our true thoughts. This is one that we can just, be, as family friendly and help people understand the game of baseball as possible.
The new thing is like a baseball 101 where brushback is baseball 404 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
400 level baseball. Okay.
Exactly.
I got you. Mr. J. Jackson, that's all I've got for you. I appreciate all your time, and I appreciate, man, you informing us on all the exciting things you got going on after baseball. Good luck with your first season as a pitching coach of the West Virginia Black Bears. And thank you for your time, my friend.
No problem. Thanks for having me, JP. I'm glad we could do this, man.